Welcome to Alchemy Avenue, where we transform in real time, trust the vibe, and grow on purpose. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a reminder that you don't need fixing, just unlocking. Around here, we laugh, we build, we heal, and we elevate, all powered by that deep inner knowing that says, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. You were made for this version of you, so let's expand, let's enjoy it, and let's keep becoming who we already are. Tap in. This is Alchemy Avenue. Welcome back to another powerful and amazing episode. Let's get into it today. Today, what we're going to unpack and co-create some new ideas is power through coherence, while force is making you weak. Now, we're going to unpack a lot of things in reference to like force, power, and just how, at least for me, I've seen it different in the last few months, and just how being someone that is a creator and understanding where to, harmonize and really maximize my creations and how I move and just anything that I want to do far as and things, quote unquote, that I have to do. Just really putting all that into perspective and just want to move with more clarity and power. So the misunderstanding of power. I want to talk about power and not like in the traditional sense, not like the force, not control, not domination, not pushing harder, because most of us were taught that power comes through effort. Work harder, push harder, force more, control more, and manage more. And for a while, all that it seems to work. And even when you view other people and see how they move, you're thinking, or you may see your parents, you just either yourself have done it, or you've seen a lot of examples of working harder and how you move with that kind of power. And again, it seems to work. It really does seem to work until it doesn't, because it is you going 1,000 miles per hour, and you're using more force to create, move, handle all the different situations. And then until it doesn't, and something either happens or things are out of control, your body, your mind, your spirit, all that starts to become less or become weak. And now, other things show up, like your body will start to let you know, it's definitely time to chill out. And a lot of times, again, because we're in this society where it is being promoted and being praised to just go out, and your body, I'm telling you, your body definitely lets you know, no, it's definitely time to chill out. I need a break. I need something. I need to be poured back into, because eventually you become exhausted, not because you're weak. And that's the thing too, that we again, you got to find what's best for you. My limit is not your limit, how I do things and how I move through the space. But you got to find where is it for you, where you pour into yourself and where you take legitimate rest and you take time for yourself. So I don't see that as weakness, being exhausted, tired, spent, because force is truly expensive. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. They are. I'm telling you, just the different people that I speak with about all the multitude of things that they do. And this keeps coming up. This is a reoccurring thing I'm talking about people and how they're not necessarily saying that they're slowing down, but they are really prioritizing the different things that they do from a day to day. So trying to make good decisions, trying to be supportive to family, trying to create something meaningful, trying to grow, heal, trying to keep moving forward. And somewhere along the way, many people start believing if I push harder, everything will finally work. But what if that's really not the answer? To me, this is just to me. To me, it's not really the answer. And I think really the key question is, what if your greatest source of power isn't effort? It's really coherence. Now, when I say coherence, I don't mean perfection. I don't mean having everything figured out. I don't mean feeling fear or uncertainty or even challenged. being challenged or feeling like you're being challenged. What I mean really is simple. Coherence is when different parts of you stop pulling in opposite directions. Your thoughts begin supporting your actions. Your actions begin reflecting your values. Your values begin aligning with your direction. And your direction begins to feel true to really who you are. Again, to who you are. You have to know who you are or have a good sense of this is who I am to better understand that part. Because most people aren't struggling from a lack of effort. No, we got that. I think we got that down. I think we are definitely putting in a lot of max effort, 2-3 jobs, doing all the different things around the house for the family we live with, an extended family, work. I don't think the effort part, to me, I don't think the effort part is the big thing. The struggle for me is the internal conflict. That's at least for me, that's what I came to the conclusion. Because now I don't struggle with that as I'm saying I'm perfect with it, but as much. I don't really struggle with that as much. So the internal conflict of the different things that I need to do, want to do, and I feel called to do. So part wants change. Part wants certainty, freedom, approval, but that approval comes from yourself. And we definitely want expansion. That's the main reason why we're here. So we also want safety as well. And when all those parts are pulling in different directions, it feels heavy. But when those parts begin working together in harmony, something changes. You don't necessarily become more powerful because you gain more energy. You become more powerful because you stop wasting energy fighting yourself. And that's what I mean by coherence. So let's unpack this. Force is expensive. Ooh, it's very expensive. Force requires constant fuel. Force creates friction. Force creates resistance and fatigue. You can force yourself into relationships, into careers, identities, and really into this whole I say false sense of the different expectations. Force yourself to become who you think you're supposed to be. That's the key right there. And I want to say you have to really force. You understand who you are, understand the different things about yourself, love yourself unconditionally. And then you're able to move better because now you understand you understand your boundaries, you understand how you want to move. Because I'm telling you, I know this. Your body will send you a bill, send you a check that you like, yo, I am too tired. They either come with just being overly tired. And then that's when this ease comes in. Whenever we don't take care of ourselves, we are in a space where we're just moving, and still not doing that. Because it's one thing to be moving and one thing to be busy and do all the things that you're doing. To me, it's really about how you're doing those things. If you're doing those things from an empty space, far as energy, far as love, far as care for yourself, that's when they get the heaviest. But if you're doing those things with power, clarity, and understanding of who you are, and then you're able to, not necessarily everything's going to be perfect, you're going to be smiling all the time, but you are clear and coherent how you move. And it just everything, you just understand. Again, you get to see things from a different vantage point, at least from my opinion. You get to see things from a better vantage point. And even though everything is not where you want it per se, you can clearly see, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can't do this, and I'm not even going to think about that part. So because force always has a cost. Force can create movement, but it rarely creates peace. Rarely. So if we're really honest, a lot of people have become experts in forcing ourselves to go through the job, forcing through stress, and really forcing ourselves to go through situations that we've truly outgrown. And then we're wondering why we're so exhausted, because we have spent a lot of energy, power, and force in all those areas, and they're all going in different directions. So the hidden drain, internal conflict. Most people think they're tired because of what we're doing. But sometimes we are tired because of what we've been resisting. To me, that's part of it. And part of us wants freedom, approval, growth, certainty, and again, expansion. So understanding, like, if you think about it, if you got like 4 horses and they're all pulling in different directions, that to me, that's what makes life heavy and makes moments and different things feel more difficult. And then we wonder why, dang, I feel stuck. I feel like I don't know. I got all these things to do, but I don't know what to do. And I've been there when you got so much to do and you're just sitting there and looking, and you're like, or you sit in the car and you're like, yo, what is all of this? How can I move? Because again, we're not clear. We're not in the space of coherence. So the greatest source of exhaustion is not effort, it's contradiction. Sometimes the problem isn't life. Sometimes it's the amount of energy required to maintain the internal disagreement. And that's really what it is, because our body and our spirit knows that we can do it all. It really knows. It really knows, and we can. However, prioritizing what we need to do, when we need to do it, and how we need to do it, to me is the biggest aspect of this. So what changes when you become coherent? So we probably experienced moments of coherence before and then recognize it. Moments where we knew exactly what needed to happen, not because everything was perfect, not because all the answers were there, but because something inside of us stopped arguing. Maybe we made a decision we've been avoiding. Maybe we finally told the truth about something, told the truth to ourselves. Maybe we left something that no longer fit, or committed fully to something that truly mattered. We finally locked in on something that lit us up, excited us, and we locked in and watched it all unfold in a wonderful and amazing way. And even though the challenges still exist, I'm not saying that they are not there. Even though they do exist, we still feel light. We still feel, oh, okay, cool, that's there. It is there. However, it's just temporary, or, okay, this is the solution for it. All right, boom, let me apply this and let me see how this unfolds. And it unfolds in great and amazing ways. So we do feel lighter, not because the situation changed immediately, but because our internal conflict ended, completely gone. So when internal conflict decreases or completely removes, available energy increase. This is not one of the most, to me, misunderstood forms of power. People think coherence gives you more energy. I mean, it can, but to me, I think you're simply stopping the time that you're wasting, that you could have already moved and did everything. So I want us to think like how much energy do we spend? How much energy, time, and effort do we spend on second guessing ourselves, people pleasing, overthinking, avoiding decisions, pretending, and carrying identities that we know we've outgrown. We don't need to listen to another guru, or try to get any signs or get any downloads, because it to me, it doesn't make sense to want to get downloads, to get all the things from your guides, your ancestors, God, the universe, source, however you want to articulate that, whatever that is, and we still second guess ourselves. To me, it doesn't. I know it doesn't really make sense. That's why trust and clarity is always the biggest thing for us to have in all of this. So once those begin to fall away, once all those things start to fall away, the overthinking or avoiding decisions, the pretending, once all that starts to fall away, we really appear more powerful because we have, to me, the information and everything always coming in. We just create blocks for the information and all of the things that we're asking for. We create the blocks because now once we remove all those things, we can move as like a new person. And then because less energy is really leaking, and now we get to put that energy towards all the things that we want to create and all the things we want to do. So coherence doesn't always add energy. It often recovers the energy that was displaced in other places. So reality is real though, but so is your relationship to it. So I want to really just kind of make sure that I don't want this conversation to sound like disconnected from everything that is going on with lots of people. So again, people are carrying real situations, bills, relationships, life, family situations, family responsibilities, work, responsibilities. Life can be a challenge. It definitely can be a challenge. So I'm not asking us to pretend like it's not. I'm not even saying we are completely blind to what's going on, and the things that need, to better move from where they are to another place. So what I'm asking though, for real, is how are we relating to these experiences? Because two people can face the exact same circumstance and create completely different futures from it. Like seriously, one would say this is impossible. Other says this is difficult, but I'll find a way. Same circumstance, same relationship, same energy. So same circumstance, different relationship, different energy, and ultimately a different outcome. So why that really matters is because your relationship with reality matters. It really does. Your relationship to the things that are going on really does matter, because if you convince yourself that everything is always hard, if you already had that in your mind, then one, your nervous system, your body will say, okay, that is hard. However you want to think, God, source, universe, whatever you think is helping you through this life, particular life, will continue to show you the different things that are hard. And without any answers, without any pathway to solutions, even if you do get a solution, you would have went the hard way because that's what you expect to get to that solution. And sometimes, things happen and you can't see. But again, your relationship to whatever that situation is really the main thing that helps, or that really shows up in how you want to move. So your nervous system responds to that. Your perception responds to that. Your creativity responds to that. Your choices respond to, if you convince yourself that everything is always hard. If that's what you think and that's what you say and that's what you feel, that's how that's exactly you were going to get. You're that powerful, and you're going to get all that you want. So eventually I had to stop looking for possibilities because I've accepted struggle as my identity. That's what you're really saying. That is really what you're saying in all of when you convince yourself that everything is hard. And you think many people accidentally do that, not because they're weak, because they repeated the story so long. You repeated the story so long, and then that is your norm, and it keeps just putting you through a loop. You keep looping through that. So there's a very difference between experiencing the difficulty and becoming identified with the difficulty. Challenges happen, of course. We understand that, but struggle does not have to become your identity. So the nervous system doesn't follow goals. It really doesn't. I know we done talk about nervous system several episodes, but I think again, it's always the main state or the main character, one of the main characters in how we get to move, because This is, to me, this is one of the practical things that we can talk about. So your nervous system doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what feels safe. You can consciously desire abundance, visibility, creativity, success, and love. But if your body associates those things with criticism, rejection, responsibility, disappointment, and pressure, you'll unconsciously resist them. You'll self-sabotage them. You really will. Not because you're broken, but because your body is protecting what it deems as your norm. As you continue to go, you have made this loop. And once you made that loop of criticism, rejection, and all those different things, then your nervous system says, oh, that's where we need to stay. That's where we need to stay. So the future isn't fighting your mind. It's negotiating with your nervous system. This is why healing matters. This is why self-awareness matters. This is why regulation matters, because coherence isn't only mental. It is not, in my opinion. It's emotional, physical, it's really rational, and it's ultimately embodied. So nature never uses force. Never uses force. So it's just natural. It's just natural for these different things that happen in nature. We want to tie this into this. So flowers don't force blooming. Ocean waves don't force the waves. The seasons don't force change. Everything unfolds through a rhythm. And that's exactly how, again, I want to be in a great rhythm. So through coherence, through natural order. But us humans often try to live entirely through pressure, then wonder why. Oh my God, we're so exhausted. I am so tired. I'm so tired at how I'm moving and different things. So quiet power. So most people mistake intensity for power. A lot of people think louder means stronger, busier means more successful, harder means committed. But some of the most powerful people you ever meet are calm, not passive, not lazy, but just in a space where they're good. They're really good because they're not leaking energy through internal conflict. They're coherent. They don't need to be dominating. They don't need to prove. They don't need to convince. Their presence speaks before their words. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes power is the absence of unnecessary friction. Again, I like to say this. I like to say that things that are supposed to be easy, I just like for them to be easy. I say that all the time at work. I don't want to add any extra to this. If this process is supposed to be A, B, and then B, A, I want it to be that. I don't want to add nothing to it. I want that part of it to go smooth, quick, and efficient, so then we can move on to the next thing. That's what I like to do. So the things that break coherence, so coherence can get weak every time we betray ourselves. I want to say that again. Coherence weakens every time we betray ourselves. So example, saying yes when you mean no, shrinking to make others comfortable, chasing things you don't actually want, ignoring your body's signals. Again, that's me. I gotta make sure I listen. I gotta listen. So living someone else's timeline, constantly seeking approval. So every small betrayal creates internal division. Every act of honesty creates internal unity. So every time you honor yourself, coherence strengthens. Every time you choose honesty over performance, coherence strengthens. Every time you stop abandoning yourself, coherence strengthens. So maybe the most powerful force in your life isn't your effort. It is really coherence. Now, not how hard you push, not how hard you hustle, not how loud you declare your intentions, but how you completely become aligned with yourself and the things that you want to do. Because something amazing and beautiful happens when your thoughts, values, actions, and direction begin moving together. So life doesn't necessarily become easier, but it becomes cleaner. You stop wasting energy fighting yourself. You stop creating resistance where none is needed. That part. Stop creating resistance where none is needed. You stop carrying identities that no longer belong to you. That part. They no longer belong to you. And you start moving from a deeper place of trust. So nature teaches us about that. Everything meaningful grows through rhythm, not constant pressure, not constant force. Rhythm, balance, and coherence. Maybe real power isn't force. Maybe real power is learning the rhythm, learning when to act, learning when to pause, learning when to trust, learning when to move. Because substantial growth isn't built through constant pressure. It's built through coherence. So again, just practical, just think about it during this week, or everything that you want to do, you're planning to do. Just think about what is my relationship to it, and everything that's going on in my life. What is my true relationship to these situations and these things? Do I have a harmonious relationship to it? Am I creating resistance? Again, it may be a really tough situation that may be presenting itself, and the only thing you can really control is your response and how you view it and how you're going to walk through it. Again, you are always guided, protected, but we have to allow the guidance, protection, clarity, wisdom. We have to allow that information to come in, because if we don't, then that's when we feel like we're alone, because we didn't get into a space enough, or we don't trust, because we get the information, and a lot of us just really don't trust the information that comes through. So power is not how much you force. You can really power is not how much force you can generate. Power is how much of yourself can move in the same direction. So don't forget it. Avenue Talks, 336-464-7881. Alchemy Avenue 859 at gmail.com. Hit me up for light code prints, or I do this is the canvases. So this is the recent canvas I did. I sent one to Brother Rich, and I did another canvas for someone. So the canvases, hit me up, any attention. And then also too, I got the 11x17 light coat prints, where again you get the plain, clear, clean, untouched print. It's a custom 1-on-1. Then the light codes, you get the physical copy of both of those, and then you get a digital copy of them. So 11x17. So holla at me. Love yourself so you can love others. Ashe.